Dave, when we're talking about Emmanuel Macron having to meet with Giorgia Meloni sooner than later, that's because Europe's got a common problem. That's what you were talking about at this summit, which is coming up with a plan for a winter without Russian gas.
Yeah, and they were able to arrive at a compromise late last night, 2:30 in the morning. It doesn't sound like a breakthrough, but trust me, it is. What they've asked is they've asked the Commission to come forward with a legislative proposal on this contentious issue of capping the price of gas. Now, the issue was that Germany was effectively blocking the Commission from even coming forward with a proposal, because in the Council it does have enough votes to pass by qualified majority, as 15, probably 16 countries in support. But Commission President Ursula von der Leyen was saying, unless the Council explicitly asks for this, we're not going to put it forward. Well, last night they explicitly asked for this. Specifically what we're talking about here is the so-called Iberian model that is capping the price of gas used to generate electricity. There are concerns about that, but President Macron in his press conference said that as far as he's concerned, he heard support about this from all 27 EU leaders. I have to say, I was in German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's press conference. I didn't hear him express that kind of support, but he did say that they are looking into this Iberian model. They're open to it. So this now goes to energy ministers, national energy ministers that will be meeting here in Brussels on Tuesday. It's going to be up to them to turn these vague 2 paragraphs in the conclusions last night into a detailed mandate to charge the Commission to come out with a proposal. That proposal will probably come in the next 1-2 weeks.
1 to 2 weeks. And
I think we have a clip, actually, of Macron.
Yeah, let's listen to the French president, Emmanuel Macron, outlining how this could work.
We asked for the pros and cons of this measure to be quickly weighed up, the advantages and disadvantages of the mechanism, and to develop it so that in the days to come, the European Commission and our energy ministers can finalise such a mechanism. What is the attractive thing about this mechanism? It's that we can put in place a ceiling for the price of gas used to produce electricity, which is what we allowed Spain and Portugal to do, which had the effect of causing the cost to fall. The electricity is still expensive, but it still pulled the price of gas down.
Okay, so Dave Keating, you mentioned the German Chancellor outnumbered at this summit and coming around to this concept. He did have misgivings. He did state them publicly. Let's listen to what he had to say earlier.
The question of whether it can work at all to subsidise prices in certain areas, like in Spain and Portugal, there are many doubts. Above all, there are also many difficulties in making sure that one country doesn't end up subsidising prices while another reaps the benefits of cheap prices.
Ultimately, Dave Keating, why did Germany bend?
Well, I think we got some insight into this at his press conference, where he said he had been given assurances that this particular issue can only pass by a unanimous vote. So it's no longer an issue that Germany could be outvoted, because apparently, and I don't have confirmation of this, but he said that he has an understanding that this would only go through with full consensus. It's not required. He's just asked for it, I guess. But what he's saying there about the concern is that if the EU subsidizes this gas that's used to make electricity, that electricity is going to flow to non-EU countries, notably the UK. This is all about the UK stealing the EU's subsidized gas. Basically, it would be electricity that's been paid for by EU taxpayers and then going over to the UK. That's actually been happening in France. France has been taking the electricity that's been taxpayer subsidized in Spain, because all these countries are interconnected. And so that's the issue. How do you get over that hurdle? Nobody thinks there's much hope of getting the UK to sign on to this at this particular moment of chaos in British politics. So they've got to find some way to address that leakage issue. It's not just the UK, it's also Norway, Switzerland, the Balkans. How do you prevent that electricity that's been effectively subsidized here in the EU from then benefiting people outside the EU who didn't pay for it?
Dave Keating, keeping the light on at the European Council summit there in Brussels. Many thanks for that live update.